Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time, but I'm back now for the coronavirus pandemic, quarantine, self-isolation, social distancing period. This pair of pants, I'm changing it into a very nice short skirt. So let's get into the video. You can use any pair of jeans that you have, but for this one I'm using this stretchy pair of denim pants. And to do this DIY rather, you're going to need a couple of tools. I'm just going to show you what I'm using: pins, chalk, any chalk that you know is going to show on your fabric, a tape roll, a pair of scissors, and something to snack on while you're doing your DIY. You don't have to snack anyways, but it's your choice, right? So you can use any pair of jeans that you have at home. Anyone could work. So I'm going to button that up and figure out how long I want my skirt to be. But before that, let me show you something. You see the crotch area of this pair of pants is kind of fading away, so making it into a skirt is a really good idea to take that part out and make it look nice. I also have a seam ripper that I'm going to use later on in the video. So now I'm going to measure how long I want my skirt to be. I'm going to be using 20 inches. So the skirt will eventually be 19. I'm measuring from the front of the waistband. So you can see that the back is higher than the front. So I'm measuring 20 inches. And I'm going to use my chalk to mark the two legs. 20 inches on each side from the front of the waist. So you can measure the skirt to be as long as you want it to be. I'm just going to cut those two guys away and tell them to go home and rest. They have done a good job, served us as long as they could, and we might be calling them for another contract at some other point in time. You can decide to throw those away or you can keep them. I'd rather keep them for another project, so yeah, keep them away. So now this is how I want my skirt to be. I'm just going to use my seam ripper right now. I'm going to rip the seams apart, separate the back from the front basically. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So it has a straight stitch and it also has like the serged edge. So I'm taking out the straight stitch first. It was a bit frustrating, so I went to the middle part to take out some stitches there too. And then it became kind of easier to take out the stitches at the down part. I don't know why, but however you figure this out, just do it. If your jean is the pair of pants you're using is way bigger than your size, you can just cut that part away and no one will know. But be careful when you cut it away that you don't cut it up to the fly, because your skirt might just have a hole under the fly and that will be ugly. Anyways, so I just ripped the middle part, separated the front from the back, and by the time I was done, it looked like what I'm going to have right about now. So this is what it looks like. Back, front have been separated. The operation was successful. Everything was done nicely. So now I'm just going to figure out how I'm going to sew my stitches. Do my seams at the front and at the back basically. So I need my scissors again, and if you have a ruler you can use a ruler. If you have a hip curve, you can use a hip curve. If you have a French curve, you can use a French curve. I currently have a French curve and that's what I'm going to use in this video. So I started off with my ruler. I think I stepped out to go get my ruler. Here we go. So I'm just going to use my chalk to draw where I want my seam to be. My stitch line actually. Yeah, so I'm just going to draw. I was trying to draw a straight line with this ruler at first, but then I realized that's the back and I'm saying for someone who's really curvy, so it would be nice if I use a French curve for it. But if you're straight like me, if you're super skinny like I am, you probably would not need a French curve. You can just draw a straight line from the top of the skirt. Yeah, right from the top of the skirt down to the hem. but I could not really take such risk with this one. So yeah, I just drew my straight line from somewhere around about the end of the fly to the end to the hem of the skirt. So I think I want to get my French curve right now just to fix that and make it look nice. Yep, that's what I did. And I just tried to draw something like that looks like a curve there anyways, so it just looks, you know, a bit curvy. Looks nice, sort of. Anyways, I'm just going to grab my scissors now and I'm going to cut the excess I have. If you have a serger, you can just use a serger to just serge that edge and make it look nice, so you can just forget about sewing a second time. But I do not have one, so I'm just going to use a straight stitch and also an overlock stitch. So I'm trying to make the skirt as straight as possible, so I'm cutting off any excess that doesn't look nice. And I'm also doing that to the front and the back where my seams would be. So when I'm about to sew, I'm going to sew a straight stitch and then probably put an overlock to ensure that the fabric is not fraying. But if your jean is not really fraying, you don't really need to bother. But just so it has a really nice finish, you can definitely bother. So now I'm doing the same thing for the back. I'm going to use my scissors to cut that part of the back so it looks nice. I don't want it to be bulging out or something. Does that make sense? I think so. Basically, I don't want it sticking its nose where it shouldn't be. So I'm going to do straight stitches at the front where I have that chalk mark and at the back where I have that chalk mark. So go ahead, grab your sewing machine and get this baby done. So I'm going to use a pin, sorry. I like to sew with pins, so I use my pins to put the front and the back together. No, put the seams. Put the two pieces together. You can decide to use pins or not. I actually just prefer to use pins, so it just guides, holds the fabric in place and just guides my sewing basically. But if you're a professional, you really do not need this, and you probably should not be watching this video. Anyways, now I'm going to draw my straight stitch. So when you're sewing with something that's stretchy like this, just be careful not to pull the fabric from behind the sewing machine, so your work doesn't look rough or rumpled. Just be careful. You can just guide the fabric so it just goes in the direction you want it to go, but don't pull it from the other end so it's not looking funny by the time you're done sewing. And you could also decide to maybe ease your tension a little more. So if the tension of your thread is like really tight, you can just ease it a little more. So I'm sewing, I think I was sewing at about a tension of 3 or 4. I can't remember, but they're about, I think it was 4. So make sure you cut off any threads just hanging around, and also make sure you remember to back stitch because you're sewing to some kind of dead end, right? So make sure you sew the first side and then you sew the other side where we put our chalk markings. And you can take out your pins while you're sewing so your needle does not break while you're sewing. So the way I put my pins, it just helps. Sometimes the needle is able to go over, but when I feel like the needle is not going to go over the pin, I take the pin off. So make sure you use your scissors to cut off any excess thread that you have hanging around, so your skirt can look very pretty. So these are the points I figured out I made a mistake with that place. It's kind of bulging out and looking very funny, so I decided to rip the seams off again for that part and just sew it again. So this time I decided to sew from the end of the fly zipper straight down. That way it looks nicer and neater. So I needed to rip some seams again from the end of the fly around the place where the overlock stitches are still visible. So I ripped those ones off and I just tried to sew again from the end of the fly zipper. That way the bulge went away, disappeared. So I'm just bringing it up close so you can see the seams I'm ripping off, so that you could figure out how you're going to sew yours to when you eventually decide to make yours. So be careful when you're ripping seams here. Here I was about to create a hole in my jean and that would have been very ugly. So be careful when you're doing that. So I pinned it again and decided to sew it one more time so it looks nice. So make sure you're careful when you're doing yours and make sure you backstitch so that place does not unravel. So I was done here and now we have one more step to go. Just one more step. In this step we're going to be closing the hem of the skirt, and as you can see again, my skirt is no longer straight. I don't know why, but things have happened since the last time we spoke, so now we have to have another conversation with my scissors. So I'm just going to cut some edges again with my scissors so it'll be as straight as I would like it to be, kind of. Just cut off any excess, make it as straight as possible. You can use your ruler if you need to. You can wear the skirt to figure out whether it's straight or not. You can look at yourself in the mirror and decide whether it's good enough for you. I didn't feel like I needed to do any of that anyways. Besides, I wasn't the one wearing the skirt eventually. So now I'm just going to fold it the way I want my hem to be. So like I said earlier in this video, I'm going to use 1 inch for the hem. And now I'm going to just fold by half once and then fold the second time. Let me do 2 times, and that's like 1 inch. So you can make your hem as big as you want it to be, but also if you have an overlock machine you can just do that round, and so you just have to fold your hem once. But it's okay, my machine will do the job. I'll fold it twice and it'll look nice and neat, and that's what I'm doing right now. So when I'm sewing like this, I don't usually back stitch because I'm sewing round, and I feel like I just have to get back to where I started before. That way there's no need to back stitch. It kind of overlaps the stitches and it looks nice and neater that way. You can also back stitch if that's what you're used to doing, but I just prefer this method. So I'm just ensuring that I'm sewing nicely. Take your sweet time with this so it will be as neat and nice as possible. So now you can cut that off, cut every excess thread, lay aside every weight that's disturbing how beautiful the skirt can be. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but now you're done. You can just give the skirt a good press if you feel like you need to, but I don't think I felt like I needed to, but I think I did that eventually. Now you can use your overlock machine to just finish those edges and make it look as nice and as neat as possible, and you'll be done with the skirt. You can just fold it and put it in your closet and keep it for your summer outfits. Thank you so much today for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like, share, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye.